I'm now joined by Peter Beyer. He is the German government's former Coordinator of Transatlantic Cooperation, and he's currently a member of the German Parliament for Chancellor Friedrich Merz's CDU party. Welcome to DW, Mr. Beyer. Some have called Chancellor Merz an extra at the side of the US president. We saw most of that press conference was dominated by Mr. Trump. Did Mr. Merz somehow degrade himself in the Oval Office yesterday?
So I think we saw an excellent meeting between the German Chancellor. It is always risky if someone meets with the incumbent US president. But German Chancellor Friedrich Merz was very well prepared. He was not nervous. He took his time, listened, and also this very personal president of the birth certificates was something that I think caught him on a personal level. So all in all, I think it was a very excellent meeting. Also, I think that was the main goal of this visit, to establish a personal relationship among the two leaders. And I think Donald Trump showed respect for this.
So we know that they talked about trade, they talked about tariffs, they discussed Ukraine. You say that this was an excellent meeting. What progress did they make?
First of all, the agenda in the Oval Office was one. There was during a lunch meeting where they had the chance to talk more in detail, longer about several things, about the Russian war of aggression against Ukraine, and certainly also about the current trade conflict amongst Europe, between the United States of America and the European Union. The expectation from the start was not that they would reach any solution or goal. We also have to keep in mind that with regard to the tariff or trade conflict, it's the competence of the EU Commissioner in Brussels to negotiate, but having coordinated some messages with his fellow European leaders, Friedrich Merz, the German Chancellor, delivered some of the messages that there can be only a negotiated agreement in the end. And I think that by itself is already a success and is some progress.
Just staying on Ukraine, which, as you would know, is really on the top of the agenda here in Europe and capitals like Berlin and beyond. But watching that interaction between the two leaders in the Oval Office, you got the impression that Merz and Trump are not really on the same page when it comes to Ukraine.
Well, Donald Trump, the US president, had this, image, that anecdote that he was giving with the two young children fighting. And certainly we would not agree that, well, maybe the young children, and by that he means, this anecdote that is that Ukraine and Russia, that they have to fight for some more time. Certainly we would not agree to that, but it was not the time to really raise the tensions. I think it was a good start again. They talked about this, and as we all know, that Donald Trump's patience with Vladimir Putin, with the Russian president, has been used up. It's a good situation. It's a very strong and clear and very important message that the German Chancellor came to Washington and showed that the European Union, the European leaders are unified. And I think it's a good basis for a strong transatlantic coalition and support for Ukraine for the future.
Right, and very quickly, Mr. Beyer, the German Chancellor spoke to us on DW. He said his biggest takeaway from the meeting with Trump was Donald Trump's willingness to find an agreement on trade. Very quickly, how close are we to that agreement?
There's a day, 9th of July, until, we need to come to a solution, to an agreement. Negotiations are ongoing while we speak, and Friedrich Merz's visit to Washington has given it a support, a boost. So I think we are making really progress on the ground in the negotiations. So 9th of July, I think by that time we will see some solution.
All right, that's Peter Beyer, member of the German Bundestag. We appreciate you being on DW. Thank you.